just try to place them a little bit in the straight angle, but don't try to square the pelvis. In apparent measurement, you start measuring from the xiphisternum and you go till the medium malleus, right? So you go from the xiphisternum till the medium malleus on both the sides. If the patient does not have any deformity of abduction adduction, then his apparent measurements on both the sides will be equal, right? And then remember, xiphisternum is a more reliable method. Umbilicus, which is a mobile point, is a less reliable method to measure the apparent lengths. Going to the true lengths, when we talk about the true measurement, the dictum is square the pelvis. And how do you confirm squaring of the pelvis? The line joining both the anterior suprailiac spine, it should be perpendicular to the long axis of the body. So draw a line in the mid, see this, and this angle should be 90 degrees. This should be 90 degrees. So when this angle is 90 degrees, it means your squaring of the pelvis has been good. So try to square the pelvis, which is important. And remember also that when you are doing these measurements, right, the true measurement is always carried out from the anterior superior iliac spine to the medium malleus. Anterior suprailiac spine on the same side to the medium malleus. You can also do a segmental femoral length from the anterior suprailiac spine to the medial joint line or the erector tubercle, and from the medial joint line or erector tubercle, the tibial length going on till the medium malleus on both the sides. So these can tell you whenever there is an effect beneath the trochanters on the femur or the tibia. Now we can also do something called as a Brandt's triangle measurement for the supratrochanteric shortening. You do not have a landmark for the femoral head. So the landmarks for the femoral head is actually a joint which is somewhere midway between the inguinal ligament, and then you go 2 centimeter beneath and lateral to it. Or the joint line can be assumed to be in the supratrochanteric area, which includes the femur, neck, the trochanter, and the cartilage covering it. The femur, neck, the head, and the cartilage covering it. So this is the supratrochanteric area. So since you do not have any landmark, after the trochanter, the next bony landmark which you can palpate is the anterior suprailiac spine. So the distance between the anterior suprailiac spine and the Brandt's and the greater trochanter, that is the supratrochanteric area, one of the measurements which can be done, quantitative measurement which can be done, is the Brandt's triangle. Brandt's triangle only holds a value when it's compared from the other side, which is presumed to be normal. So in Brandt's triangle, we have 3 limbs. One limb is the hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is of the Brandt's triangle is a line joining the anterior suprailiac spine to the greater trochanter. Then you have in the Brandt's triangle a plumb line. What is a plumb line? A line which is going from anterior suprailiac spine to the couch or to the ground. It's a plumb line. It's the vertical of the triangle. And the third thing in the Brandt's triangle is the extension of the long shaft from the greater trochanter, called as the base of the triangle. It is this base of the triangle which is the most important. This base of the triangle tells you about if there is any supratrochanteric shortening. So this is the triangular area, and this base of the triangle, which has been marked with a red here, is the area which tells about the shortening associated in the neck or the head or the joint, if there is anything happening to our precious hip joint, ball and socket joint. This is the vertical plumb line, and this is the hypotenuse, which can be reduced if there is a central dislocation going in the pelvis, called as a central fracture dislocation. This is one of the very, very important things that one should remember. Now, I will also be showing you here another line called as the shoemaker's line. The shoemaker's line talks about that if you are connecting, right, if you are connecting the greater trochanter to the anterior superior iliac spine, isn't it the hypotenuse of the Brandt's triangle? Yes. So you are basically doing what? You are creating the hypotenuse and you are taking it up. And when you take it up, this line will go up. So you have drawn a line which has gone above the umbilicus. So when you draw a line joining anterior superior spine going to the greater trochanter, and then you draw it on the opposite side as well, and when you draw this line on the opposite side as well, these two lines should meet in the midline above the umbilicus. Imagine if your trochanter goes up. If your trochanter goes up, it means that the line will meet the opposite line beneath the umbilicus, opposite line. Now this is indicative of the supratrochanteric shortening, which has to be shown here. So I am repeating it again, right? You are joining anterior superior spine with the greater trochanter, and then you prolong this line. It should meet somewhere in the midline above the umbilicus. If it meets beneath, right on the opposite side, it means there is a shortening.